The shocking truth that could destroy everything she's built. Dr. Portia Robinson's world has spiraled into chaos on ABC's General Hospital. After years of navigating turbulent relationships and carefully guarded secrets, the accomplished physician now faces her most devastating challenge yet. She's pregnant, but she has no idea who the biological father is. The three men in question: her estranged husband Curtis Ashford, her colleague Dr. Isaiah Gannon, and the mysterious Drew Quartermain, represent three very different futures for Portia and her unborn child. This is a story of passion, desperation, and the consequences of living a double life. The perfect storm when a marriage falls apart. Portia Robinson has always been a woman caught between duty and desire. As co-chief of staff at General Hospital, she commands respect in her professional life. But behind closed doors, her marriage to Curtis Ashford has been anything but stable. What started as a passionate romance has deteriorated into a relationship filled with resentment, accusations, and a pattern of deception that seems impossible to break. Curtis, the man Portia promised to love forever, began pulling away months ago. Their intimate moments became rare, replaced by cold silences and angry words. Portia tried desperately to save the marriage, clinging to memories of better days when they couldn't keep their hands off each other. She made promises to herself that she would be honest, that she would rebuild the trust Curtis had placed in her. But promises are easy to make when you're drowning in loneliness. When Curtis suggested they try one last date to rekindle their love, Portia felt a spark of hope ignite in her chest. Perhaps this was their second chance. Perhaps they could find their way back to each other. In a moment of passion, they gave into temptation, making love with the intensity of two people desperately trying to save something precious. For a few hours, Portia believed they might actually make it. But that fragile hope was shattered just hours later. The impulsive mistake that changed everything. Seething with insecurity and fueled by jealousy, Portia made a decision that would haunt her forever. She sought out Dr. Isaiah Gannon, the charming colleague who had been paying her far too much attention lately. In a moment of blind rage and hurt, she seduced him in her office, the same professional space where she saves lives and makes critical medical decisions. What should have been a moment of clarity became instead a moment of reckless abandon. Isaiah was unlike Curtis in every way. He was attentive, he was eager, and most importantly, he made Portia feel desired again. But as he held her in his arms, Portia knew deep down that this was wrong. This wasn't love, this was vengeance dressed up in passion. She had betrayed not only her marriage vows, but also her own moral compass. "I don't even know why I did it," Portia confessed to herself later, sitting alone in her office. "I'm not that woman. I've never been that woman." But the truth was undeniable. She was exactly that woman. History was repeating itself in the cruelest way possible. Years ago, when she was married to Trina's father, Marcus Taggart, she had an affair with Curtis. She had hidden that truth for years, allowing an innocent man to raise a child that wasn't biologically his. Now, through a cruel twist of fate, she found herself in a similar situation, except this time, the victim could be Curtis, or Isaiah, or perhaps even someone else entirely. The pregnancy test that changes everything. Portia's hands trembled as she held the small plastic stick. To pink lines. Unmistakable. Undeniable. The pregnancy test was positive, just like it had been years ago when she carried Trina. But this time, there was no clarity about paternity. This time, she truly didn't know who had fathered the child growing inside her. "How did I let this happen?" she whispered, staring at her reflection in the bathroom mirror. "I'm a doctor. I know better than anyone what birth control is for." The stress of her crumbling marriage, the secrets she was keeping, and the constant pressure at work had made her careless. She'd missed pills, several of them. In her panic to manage her personal crisis, she'd neglected the one thing that could have prevented this catastrophe. Curtis found her moments later, holding the positive pregnancy test in her shaking hands. She'd been so lost in her thoughts that she hadn't heard him enter her office. His eyes widened with a mixture of shock and something else, something that looked like hope, but could have easily been dread. Are you?" he asked, the words barely escaping his lips. "About 10 weeks," Portia replied quietly. "I've known for sure for maybe 3 weeks now." Curtis stepped closer, his jaw tightening. 3 weeks? And you didn't think I had the right to know?" Portia felt tears streaming down her face. "I needed to be sure it was real first. I'm not getting any younger, Curtis. At my age, miscarriages aren't uncommon. I didn't want to get your hopes up only to lose the baby." It was a plausible explanation. It was also a lie. The real reason she hadn't told him was because she wasn't sure the baby was his. The third player, Drew Quartermain's mysterious connection. But there's another complication in this already impossible situation, one that Portia hasn't even fully acknowledged yet. Drew Quartermain, the man who has been the source of so much chaos and conflict in Port Charles, is woven into the fabric of Portia's recent history in ways she may not have fully considered. Drew has his hooks in everyone in Port Charles. He's blackmailed Portia, threatened her career, and exploited her vulnerabilities. Some whisper that there's more to their connection than just professional rivalry or workplace tension. The rumors suggest that Portia may have found herself in Drew's orbit in ways she hasn't fully revealed, perhaps seeking information to use against him, or perhaps allowing herself to be manipulated in a moment of weakness. "I made a deal with Drew," Portia confessed to someone she trusted, "to keep my workplace secrets safe. I had to help repair his relationship with Curtis. I was desperate. I wasn't thinking clearly. The irony is bitter and undeniable. In trying to keep her secrets hidden, Portia may have created even bigger ones. And now, with a baby on the way and uncertainty about the father's identity, the stakes have never been higher. When Jordan interferes, the truth comes out. It was Jordan Ashford who finally forced the issue into the open. Curtis's ex-wife and the mother of their child together, Jordan, had long harbored suspicions about what was happening behind closed doors in Curtis and Portia's marriage. When she began to suspect that Portia was pregnant, she felt compelled to act. Despite warnings from Anna Devane to stay out of it, Jordan went directly to Curtis with her suspicions. "Portia is pregnant," Jordan told Curtis bluntly. "I don't know if you knew or not, but you deserve to know." Portia was furious when she learned that Jordan had revealed her secret before she was ready. She confronted her rival in a heated exchange. "You had no right," Portia said, her voice sharp as a blade. "This is my pregnancy, my life, my family. You need to stay out of this." But the damage was already done. The secret was out, and now there were uncomfortable questions that needed answers. Curtis wanted to know details. When had she discovered she was pregnant? How far along was she? Most importantly, and though he asked it without speaking it aloud, whose baby was it? The conversation no one wants to have. When Curtis and Portia finally had their full conversation about the pregnancy, the tension in the room was thick enough to cut with a surgical instrument. "Look, I get we just decided to get a divorce at the worst possible time," Curtis said, his voice heavy with emotion. "But I am that child's father, and you can't cut me out." Portia remained silent, unable to meet his eyes. "Everything seems to be progressing as it should," she finally said, referring to her medical checkups. "I want to make it through the first trimester before we make any other decisions or tell anyone, including Trina." Curtis nodded, but she could see the doubt in his face. He wasn't convinced the baby was his, or perhaps he was, but he sensed there was something more to the story, something she wasn't telling him. Isaiah's growing suspicion. Meanwhile, Isaiah Gannon has noticed that Portia is keeping him at arm's length. He calls her, but she's always busy. She texts, but her words seem distant and guarded. When he finally gets her alone, he can see something is weighing heavily on her mind. "Is everything okay?" he asked, searching her face for answers. Portia hesitated. She wanted to tell him about the baby. She wanted to explain the impossible situation she was in. But she couldn't? Not yet. Not until she knew for sure whose child she was carrying. The secret was burning inside her, threatening to consume her entire life. She had to get a paternity test done, and soon. But how could she do it without raising suspicion? Curtis would demand to know the results. Isaiah would want answers. And there was always the possibility that Drew had something to do with this entire situation, whether she wanted to admit it or not. The emotional toll of living a lie. Portia has always prided herself on being a woman of integrity. As a doctor, she has taken an oath to do no harm. Yet here she is, harming everyone around her with her deceptions and infidelities. She has hurt Curtis, who loved her despite her flaws. She has hurt Isaiah, who trusted her. And she may have even hurt the innocent child growing inside her womb, born into a situation of chaos and lies. She feels disappointed in herself, as actress Brooke Kerr has explained. It's as if she's questioning, how did I end up in this predicament? The guilt is overwhelming. Portia knows that her actions have consequences that extend far beyond her own life. Trina, her daughter, will be affected by whatever happens next. Curtis and Isaiah will both be devastated by the truth, whichever truth ultimately emerges. And the baby, the innocent life she's carrying, will be born into a world of confusion and conflict. What comes next? As General Hospital continues to unfold its complex storyline, viewers are left wondering, who is the father of Portia's baby? Will Curtis accept the child as his own, even if the paternity test reveals a different truth? How will Isaiah react when he discovers that Portia may have been deceiving him all along? And what role will Drew Quartermaine play in this unfolding drama? The most troubling question of all is whether Portia Robinson, a woman caught in a web of her own making, can find redemption and honesty before it's too late. She has always known the value of truth as a physician. She understands that accurate information saves lives. Yet she continues to hide the most important truth of all from the people who love her. One thing is certain, Port Charles has never seen a more complicated or emotionally devastating storyline. Portia's pregnancy is not just a plot twist, it's a reckoning. It's a moment where all of her choices, all of her lies, and all of her compromises come crashing down into one undeniable reality. She is pregnant. She doesn't know who the father is, and her entire world is about to change forever. The days ahead will test Portia Robinson in ways she's never been tested before. She will have to choose between the comfort of continued deception and the painful clarity of truth. She will have to face the consequences of her actions and decide what kind of woman, what kind of mother she wants to be. And she will have to do it all while carrying the weight of a secret that could destroy everyone she loves. Welcome to Port Charles, where secrets never stay buried for long, and where the truth always finds a way to surface no matter how deeply you try to hide it. Next, we will learn about the hilarious, behind-the-scenes antics involving beloved stars Maurice Benard and Marcus Coloma, as they playfully brainstorm a wild kidnapping scheme targeting fellow actor Ken Schreiner. In the ever-twisting world of daytime television, where plot lines often blur the line between fiction and reality, General Hospital's iconic portrayer of mob kingpin Sonny Corinthos, Maurice Benard, has ignited a storm of laughter with his audacious off-screen suggestion. Picture this during a casual weekend chat captured on social media. Maurice turned to his co-star Marcus Coloma, best known for breathing life into the enigmatic Nicolas Casadini, and floated the idea of staging an elaborate kidnap of Ken Schreiner, the seasoned actor who embodies the cunning attorney Scott Baldwin. This isn't just idle chatter, it's a nod to the soap's rich history of high-stakes drama, where secrets, betrayals, and abductions fuel endless intrigue. Fans of the ABC series will remember how these characters have tangled in webs of deception before, and Maurice's just feels like a cheeky extension of that legacy, blending the show's signature intensity with real-life camaraderie. By drawing on familiar tropes like hidden identities and dramatic reveals, Maurice's proposal highlights how the actors themselves are masters at crafting suspense, turning everyday banter into content that keeps viewers hooked long after the credits roll. Diving deeper into the kidnap plot that sparked this buzz, enthusiasts of General Hospital might flash back to the gripping 2019 arc where the villainous Cassandra Pierce, portrayed with icy precision by Jessica Tuck, ensnared Nicolas in a high-pressure blackmail scheme. In that storyline, Cassandra cornered the prince-turned-pauper Nicolas, demanding his assistance in orchestrating a daring prison escape, all while dredging up his shadowy history of aiding her evasion from the World Security Bureau and his reluctant role in orchestrating abductions of key figures in Port Charles. The tension was palpable as Nicolas grappled with his past sins, weighing loyalty against self-preservation in a city rife with moral gray areas. Morris's recent Instagram stories reel appears to riff directly on this narrative vein, transforming those on-screen perils into a lighthearted, fan-engaging stunt. Imagine the visual flair, shadowy figures in disguises, a mock chase through dimly lit streets echoing the show's iconic waterfront scenes, and a climactic unmasking that ties back to Scott Baldwin's legal expertise, perhaps even incorporating props from past episodes to amp up the authenticity. This creative twist not only pokes fun at the soap's penchant for over-the-top rescues, but also underscores how actors like Maurice use their platform to keep the General Hospital universe alive in fans' minds, fostering a sense of community through shared nostalgia and humor. The genesis of Morris's wild kidnap plot unfolded in a spontaneous Instagram stories session that quickly went viral among the General Hospital fandom. With his trademark charisma, Maurice revealed that Marcus had been experimenting with content on Facebook, urging him to aim higher for that elusive viral breakthrough. That's when the mob boss actor dropped the bombshell idea. Why not kidnap Kin Shriner for a reel that would explode online? The suggestion was laced with playful exaggeration, envisioning a scenario where the trio Sonny, Nicolas, and Scott reunite in a Fox crime spree, complete with dramatic slow-motion captures and cliffhanger edits mimicking the show's episode structure. Maurice painted a vivid picture of the payoff: millions of views, endless shares, and a surge in engagement that could rival any Port Charles scandal. This isn't mere tomfoolery. It's a savvy commentary on the digital age of celebrity, where soap stars leverage social media to extend their reach beyond the studio, turning personal interactions into mini-episodes that tease potential crossovers or comebacks. By spotlighting Kin's enduring presence as the sly lawyer who's navigated every twist from corporate espionage to family feuds, Maurice cleverly weaves in layers of character lore, making the joke resonate on multiple levels for die-hard viewers who appreciate the nod to Scott's history of outsmarting adversaries in and out of the courtroom. Despite the infectious energy of the pitch, Marcus Coloma's reaction injected a dose of reality into the fun, labeling the whole notion a terrible idea with wide-eyed disbelief that had fans chuckling in recognition. As he echoed the line, "You want to kidnap Kin Shriner," Marcus captured the essence of a man caught between amusement and caution, his expression a perfect mirror to the shocked allies Sonny often faces in heated council scenes. Undeterred, Maurice doubled down with meticulous flair, outlining how they'd stage it all to seem utterly authentic. Think balaclavas, a nondescript Venn reminiscent of the show's black market dealings, and a surprise reveal where Kin dramatically removes his mask to thunderous applause, perhaps even delivering a scripted line from one of Scott's classic trials. Marcus countered swiftly with the stark reminder that such antics cross into illegal territory, prompting a ripple of laughter as he highlighted the risks of blurring Hollywood hijinks with real-world laws. Yet Maurice, ever the optimist, waved it off with the quip that friendship grants a free pass, estimating a cool $1 million in buzz and potential sponsorships from the viral fallout. This exchange wasn't just banter, it dissected the fine line soap actors walk between embracing chaotic storylines and grounding them in ethical humor, analyzing how such stunts could revitalize interest in legacy characters while poking gentle fun at the genre's more absurd elements, like improbable escapes and unbreakable bonds forged in crisis. At its core, the duo's exchange came across as pure jest, affectionate spoof of General Hospital's labyrinthine plots where kidnappings serve as catalysts for redemption arcs and unlikely alliances. Maurice and Marcus toyed with the idea of spinning this into an ongoing series of reels, perhaps chronicling adventures that parody famous episodes such as a mock version of the Casadini family curses or Sonny's endless vendettas featuring guest spots from other cast members to build a collaborative web of content. This media approach cleverly mocks the soap's formulaic thrills without diminishing their charm, inviting fans to see the human side of the drama they adore. By framing the Kidnap as a friendly gag among colleagues who've shared intense screen time, the actors emphasize themes of loyalty and levity, much like how Scott Baldwin often diffuses tension with his wry legal insights. The speculation it sparked among viewers underscores the power of such interactions to humanize stars, turning a simple story post into a deeper exploration of how off-screen chemistry sustains on-screen magic, potentially inspiring fan theories about collaborative projects that bridge the gap between past and present eras of the show. Lately, the budding off-screen partnership between Marcus Coloma and Maurice Benard has become a delightful subplot in its own right, fueling endless speculation within the General Hospital community. Recent social media glimpses, including a charming reel of the pair strolling through urban streets arm in arm, evoke the buddy cop dynamics of some of the soap's most memorable duos, like the uneasy truces between rivals in Port Charles' underbelly. This sighting didn't just warm hearts, it reignited fervent hopes for Marcus's triumphant return to the canvas as Nicholas, a character whose brooding charisma and tangled lineage continue to captivate audiences. Though no official comeback has materialized, the duo's frequent collaborations suggest a deliberate strategy to keep the buzz alive, with each post serving as a breadcrumb trail for eager fans dissecting clues for hidden meanings. Instead of diving straight back into scripts, they've pivoted to creating bite-sized entertainment on platforms like Instagram and Facebook. From improv skits that riff on episode twists to Q&A sessions unpacking character motivations, this shift highlights a broader trend in the industry, where former stars maintain relevance through digital innovation, analyzing how such visibility could pave the way for guest arcs or even spin-off ideas centered on legacy players like Kin Shriner's Scott, whose courtroom battles have defined decades of drama. Whispers of Maurice Benard's potential retirement have added an intriguing layer to these escapades, as fans pore over every hint for signs of his exit from the long-running series. While the actor has publicly affirmed his commitment to Sonny Corinthos for the foreseeable future, emphasizing the role's enduring appeal and his passion for the character's complex moral compass, subtle cues suggest a strategic wind-down. For instance, his announcement to shift the popular State of Mind podcast to a subscription model points to a diversified portfolio, ensuring steady income streams that could cushion a transition away from daily filming demands. This move aligns with the evolving landscape of entertainment careers, where veterans like Maurice leverage personal brands to explore podcasts, endorsements, and creative ventures beyond the soap opera grind. On the flip side, Marcus Coloma's foray into Facebook content creation has been steady but understated so far. Lacking the explosive virality Maurice envisions, his posts often delve into thoughtful reflections on acting craft or lighthearted fan shoutouts, building a niche following rather than chasing trends. Together, these developments invite a nuanced analysis of longevity in daytime TV, where stars like these balance nostalgia with reinvention, keeping the General Hospital flame burning brightly through innovative, fan-centric storytelling that transcends the screen. As the dust settles on Maurice Benard's cheeky kidnapping quip involving Kin Shriner, it's clear this moment captures the playful spirit that makes General Hospital a cultural staple. What do you think? Could this spark a full-blown real series? Or is it just another tease in the endless saga of soap star shenanigans? Share your takes in the comments below. And stay tuned for more spoilers and insider scoops right here on the channel.